Okay, hi everyone, welcome to our VE Day online tutorial. We've chosen to make you some yummy flatbread today using just a few ingredients. So the things you're going to need are some olive oil. I've only got some pretty standard olive oil here, but if you can get some super nice extra virgin, that's going to be better. You're going to be wanting about 9 tablespoons of that. This is a nice old-fashioned big old tablespoon that we like to use. You're going to need some rosemary, about 3 sprigs. Here's some I picked from our garden earlier. Some strong white bread flour, 300 grams, and some fast action yeast. And just like in war times, I know this is super hard to get, and laughingly, ours is from 2013. But I've checked this out and it's safe to use, and the advice is to use twice as much as you normally would. So this recipe does just call for 1 of these packets, but we're going to go with both. And the only other thing you're going to need is some sea salt flakes, which are here. Regular salt will probably work fine, but the flakes are super yummy. So next we're going to just remove the leaves from the rosemary. Just nice easy motion, just down the stem like that. And we're going to get those marinating in the olive oil before we start making the bread proper. So any kind of receptacle, throw those in there. And we're going to want about 6 tablespoons of our olive oil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm just going to pop that spoon in our bowl because we'll be using it a bit later. So next we're just going to weigh out our flour, about 300 grams in the bowl. There we go. And to our flour we're going to add both sachets of the yeast. So if you've got some yeast that is a little bit fresher than mine, you just want 1 7-gram packet. Throw that in there. Now we want our 3 more tablespoons of olive oil. Excuse the quick voiceover. I totally forget to do this. At this point you do need to add a teaspoon of your sea salt as well. Add a teaspoon of your sea salt at this stage. 3. And at this point we're going to gradually add 175 ml of water and mix it up so we have a nice sticky dough. Here's some I measured earlier. So just gradually mixing that in. And it should all just come together to form a nice sticky ball. Hopefully you can see that starting to just come together. So next we're just going to tip this out and knead it together. So just clear off your work surface. You want a nice non-porous work surface for this. If you haven't, we've got a nice granite top, so that helps, but marble, or just spray some spray oil on your surface to stop everything sticking, because this is going to be a gooey mess. So just in the bowl, help to just try and get those other loose bits into the ball. Once you've got a nice ball, straight onto the work surface. Just going to check the video, make sure you can still see what we're doing there. Super. Before I do this, should have got my timer prepared. So you guys need to knead this for about 6 to 8 minutes. There we go, going for the full 8. And if you haven't done any kneading before, you just sort of fold and push. It does get a bit boring after 8 minutes, so you can change it up a bit if you want to. Hopefully that's enough for you guys to see the technique there. I won't bore you with it for 8 minutes. I'll turn you off for a minute and we'll come back when it's all been kneaded. So hopefully after 6 to 8 minutes you're going to end up with a nice ball of dough. Looks a little bit like this. Next you need to have a lightly oiled clean bowl. I've got some of this oil spray. Just going to spray that in there. Pop your dough in. Then you just need to cover it in some cling film and leave it in a warmish spot. Typically today is the one day it's rained. Usually I'd leave it somewhere where the sun's coming through. But hopefully in about an hour that's going to have doubled in size. So we'll come back, see you again in an hour. So that's been a good hour now, and hopefully as you can see that has got quite a lot bit bigger in the bowl. I need to admit at this point that I did actually forget a really important stage, which was adding salt to the mixture. So I wouldn't recommend doing it at this stage, but I think that's what I'm going to have to do. First of all, whilst your dough is like this, all puffed up, you just need to punch it back down in the bowl, which is literally as easy as it sounds. Just punch it and you'll hear the air coming out of it. Once you've done that, you can take it out of your bowl. As I say, this point, I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt and hope that kind of works. I'm just going to sprinkle it on and kind of knead it in. You should have added your salt earlier, and at this point you would just be giving it a quick knead before we shape it to fit our oven tray. So that's probably just going to end up with some very salty pockets in it, but we'll hope for the best on. So very light knead. I'm doing mine probably a little bit more because I'm trying to mix that salt in, but you guys don't need to. And then you'll need quite a heavy based oven tray if possible. I know that's not something everyone has hanging around. I've got these Le Creuset ones which are just about the right size, but I'm sure you'll find something that will fit. And you want to lightly oil that. So again, just with the spray that we looked at earlier. There we go. Now I'm just going to try and knead this into the rectangular shape that's going to fit into that tray there. So just kind of stretching out into a rectangle. Or if you've got like a round baking tray, doesn't matter, doesn't have to be rectangular. Just had a little hole forming there, so again just fold it over and whack it about a bit. None of this has to be neat at all. When you think you've got it roughly the same shape and size, I'm just going to lay it in. Yep, fits pretty well. At this point we're going to leave it for another 30 minutes just to rise again, and I think I will grab that cling film and see you in 30 minutes. Right, so we've heated our oven to 200 degrees, that's fan oven. You'd want it 220 or gas mark 7 if you don't have a fan oven. Then we're going to use our fingers to make dimples through the dough, and you want to be basically touching right down to the bottom of the pan here. Should feel nice and poofy. Hopefully yours, if you've got some fresh yeast, is going to be feeling a little bit more poofy and a little bit bigger than mine, but hey ho. So once we've done that, we're going to pour our oil over. I think this is a lot of oil, and this really just depends on your preference, how crispy you like your bread really. What we do want though is all those lovely rosemary flakes on there, so I'm actually going to use a spoon to go for those first of all, and just drizzle them all over. Probably have to spread these out a little bit anyway. Yep. There we go. Just move them about so there's a little bit everywhere. You can spend a bit more time doing this a little bit more neatly than I am, if you like. And then, as I say, the rest of it is just up to how much oil you like going through your bread. Last time I made this, which was the first time I made this, it was quite oily. So I'm not going to use all of it. To be fair, I have used most of it, but you get the idea. And then we're just going to throw it in the oven for 20 minutes till it's golden brown colour. So see you again in about 20 minutes. Actually, I've just remembered, I forgot the salt again. At this point, you should have had salt in your mix and then just flake a little bit on the top again as well before you put it in the oven. Always read the instructions properly. Okay, back in the oven. Whilst your bread is cooking, obviously just have a little clean up. I did wash my hands, tie my hair up, all that kind of thing before we started. But do that every step along the way. And once you've all cleaned down, you want to get out some foil, just slightly bit bigger, in the pan. When it does come out of the oven, when it's all nice and golden brown, you're just going to loosely cover it just for it to cool down with the foil. That's just going to stop your bread from getting too crusty. It's going to keep the crust nice and soft for you, so have that ready for when it comes out of the oven. So that's my 20 minutes up. We'll open the oven, have a look how we're doing. For some reason my oven cooks more on one side than it does on the other. But there we go. That's sort of what it's supposed to look like. So I'm just going to cover it loosely with the foil now. That will just help keep a little bit of steam in. Keep the crust nice and soft. So yeah, that's kind of it really, guys. I'll catch up with you once I've cut into it. We're going to have ours with a nice Greek salad tonight. Here's one I made earlier, which is handy. So I'll see you when it's dinner time. There we go. So we're actually starving at this point. So I've taken my foil off pretty much straight away because we're all jonesing for dinner. But that's your flatbread, and hopefully it's going to be super tasty. Thanks for watching.